Я календарь переверну, снова 3 сентября. That's also my birthday, and everybody's...
3rd September?
Yes. Привет, как дела? Хорошо. Вкусно.
Miss San Diego at Olga, known to put my town on my shoulders.
My songs are about a lot of things. I'd say in general they're about my life and my experience. I'm not a hooligan, I just like the football. I face a lot of anti-Semitism. Representing my black roots, my Jewish roots, my Soviet Jewish roots. I think it's really important for Jews to live in Israel.
Шалом, что слышно? Шалом, манишма. С этой фразы мы одновременно здороваемся и пытаемся узнать что-то новое. Так называется и наш проект. Мы находимся на севере Израиля, в Хедере, и наш герой точно знает, что делать с календарем в сентябре. И он не однофамилец Михаила Шуфутинского, он его внук и тоже музыкант. Ну что, мы начинаем.
On the west side of Olga and a rep it. If you disrespect him, best bet you get to step it. You know about the ops and they ain't allowed entrance. Don't always get the message, so I gotta keep a shh.
3, הסמל הנכון לזרוק. 3, תנו את הכבוד או שתוק. 3 אנשים שדיברו.
שלום, מה נשמע?
נעים מאוד, מה איתך?
בסדר. Why do you like Hadera?
Hadera, it's the best place in all of Israel. No, for real, I love it. I love especially this neighborhood. It's nice, it's really close to the water. It's very like family kind of vibe. You know, a lot of people know one another. It's amazing kebab. It's one of the places, my favorite places down there, so I can't say anything about it. Shashlik and the beach, what else is there to ask for? So I feel at home. I've actually felt at home here a long time because I visited a lot. My older brother was a lone soldier and he really inspired me to make Aliyah when he made Aliyah like 3 years ago. So I've been able to come here and visit him a lot, sort of see what it's like to live here on the ground, and that's what made me want to come here. I mean, I'm here all the time besides when I'm at work. So I mean, always just walking around, going to the beach, it's a lot of fun to get to know people, and then, you know, slowly but surely people get to know my music and recognize me at some of the local spots, so that always feels good. There's actually a lot of good musicians here too, a couple rappers, my friends Michael and Hillel. There's some artists who I've worked with before, and they live not too far from here in Givat Olga. It's a crazy story how we ended up both being here. I moved here, found out some of their music, and they were like, oh, we were actually raised in Givat Olga too, and then we just connected and made a bunch of music. Not even a little bit of all those things. I feel a lot of all those things. I think that's part of me. It was part of my upbringing in my household. I try to like bring that into my music as well, representing my black roots, my Jewish roots, my Soviet Jewish roots specifically in addition to that, and really just to represent it, a little bit about the culture. I won't say more than anything else. It all kind of goes together with me because like the Russian and Jewish is together, the Black American and Jewish is together, and obviously now the Israeli and Jewish always is going to be together. So that's the story of our people. We've been all over the world, and so I finally made the decision probably like 2.5 years ago that I for sure wanted to move to Israel. I was in university. My brother had just made Aliyah, and he again was like a huge inspiration to me. So seeing him come here and succeed and pursue his dream and the Jewish dream of being able to return home to the land that we all come from really inspired me. And especially from his writing and his work, I'd always grown up like looking up to him for that. And then after when I was in college, just thinking about my future, where would I want to spend the rest of my life, I couldn't imagine another place. When I was really young, actually I did speak Russian with my father, but because he was in the Navy, he would go away on the ship for many months, and my mom doesn't know Russian, so I lost it, and it was very difficult to try again because he was always away with the Navy. In America, after graduating high school, I attended university, and I finished also with a master's degree in international peace and conflict resolution. It was very important to me to give back to the home of the Jewish people and to return here and to live here. I believe that the future of the Jewish people is in Israel, and I also thought that going to the army was going to be very helpful for integrating into the society.
Do you help to your brother usually?
Yes, with some things like the bureaucracy, also with giving him advice about if he does go to the army one day, where to go, and public transportation as well. It was a little bit of an adjustment.
What do you like to do together?
Love going to the beach, hanging out in the neighborhood. There's some bars in the neighborhood sometimes we go to. There's a nice place to hike
by the sea, so we go there a lot together.
My older brother is always an example for me, even just the way he came here, served in the military. So that's definitely was a dream of mine and something that I've always thought about.
When he lived in Los Angeles with our babushka, we would be there very often because we lived in San Diego. So we would come on weekends, and he would take us to the bookstore or the toy store, and we would barbecue at his house and swim in the pool. And go to his concerts sometimes also.
Yeah, I definitely remember the concerts. That was really cool. And also, yeah, when he was living in LA with our babushka, definitely remembering the barbecue. I'm always talking about food, but I remember he would make a kalbi and like even Korean barbecue sometimes outside, and we would just sit together, all of us, catching up.
Did you grow up on the songs of grandfather?
Yes, sometimes we would play them in the car or at home. When we were at his house, he would put on his music videos on TV or play the songs on the radio.
Let's sing it.
Oh,
I'm not going to be able to do him justice. I'm just the rapper. I don't know if I did it right.
Miss San Diego, I'd Olga, known to put my town on my shoulders. 21 and change, but my resume resembles somebody older. Been all around the world, nothing I found compares to my area.
What does your grandfather Mikhail think about your songs?
He loves it. Yeah, whenever I send him songs, he responds and tells me how he likes it. Even when I was younger, he used to listen to some things. He maybe give me some tips on different ways I can produce stuff. And cool sounds to use. So yeah, he's always supported it. In Israel, it's especially easier because of the time difference. In America, it would depend on the time difference, especially when I was in college. But yeah, we call, we talk.
Do you like the grandfather's song, the 3rd of September?
yes, and I have a lot of friends in the army who are from Russia or other countries from the Soviet Union that always ask me that question, and I tell them that that's also my birthday, and everybody's...
3rd September?
Yes, and everybody's very surprised, and then on my birthday they send me videos of them singing the song. And I was born after the song came out.
Я календарь переверну, снова 3 сентября. So whenever I was a kid, whenever we were in San Diego, we'd always go up to my babushka and Yerushka's house in LA. And whenever he was in America, then we'd see him there. And then, yeah, we moved around a lot, so we'd make an effort, and my babushka was always really trying to make an effort to get the whole family together so we can hang out with my Yerushka and me, my cousins, everyone.
How well do you know Russian?
Привет, как дела? Хорошо, вкусно. Голубцы, шелаба шели.
Do you use Russian, Hebrew, English, Spanish, Arabian?
Yeah, so mainly Hebrew, English, Spanish, and then some Russian too. I like to bring a little bit of that culture, the little Russian that I know, I like to put it in there. So I work now for Stand With Us. It's a Zionist organization, and mainly it's about like education for me. So I'm the education and outreach manager, so when different groups are coming from the United States, from Europe, from South Africa, from Australia, they're coming into our office, and I get to teach them about Jewish history and Israeli history, and really just give like education on the history of Zionism in the state of Israel. So it's also a passion of mine, and I think it goes hand in hand with my music and the culture that I try to represent. I think at the end of the day, the Jewish people, our home is here, we belong here. Everyone's going to have issues wherever they are. I understand people who want to go other places for work, but it's important to remember where we come from, and also to do what we can to make sure the next generation has even more opportunities to come back here. So I love America. Like I was born and raised there, lived a lot of different places in the United States. San Diego is like my second home, I would say, just from basically where I've grown up. And actually it reminds me a lot of San Diego living here. It's very like quiet, relaxing sort of life up here in Givat Olga. A lot of people know each other. It's easy to sort of go to different restaurants and shops and stores and like build a relationship with the people there, the same as it was in my neighborhood in San Diego. So it kind of reminds me of that. I'd say it's different because compared to other places besides like San Diego, there's not necessarily the same feeling of family here. It's nice to be in a Jewish place where people are going to look out for each other regardless of wherever we come from in the diaspora. Definitely, I think it's interesting to see how it changes depending where you are in Israel. Comparing the prices for falafel in Tel Aviv compared to here down the street from Shimon and Adi is crazy. But yeah, I mean, definitely prices are different and more expensive here. I think it's easy to see that right off the bat, but it also again depends where you are in America. Because for example, like I have some friends who are moved from Washington D.C. to New York and are paying like crazy prices to live in apartments compared to something you could get in a place like this in Israel.
Do you think the level of anti-Semitism in the world is high now?
I think right now it's definitely high, but it's been high for the past 2,000 years since we've been in the diaspora. So it's important to look at how it's always changing, because it changes and it looks different in different places you go, and it's always trying to evolve, so people will think that it's acceptable to be anti-Semitic. So definitely I think we're seeing new types of anti-Semitism come out, and it's really important to recognize that and fight against it. I've dealt with anti-Semitism since I was a little kid, but also I was raised to know that I was going to deal with it. You know, my dad comes from the Soviet Union where there's a lot of anti-Semitism. So my parents raised us to understand we're going to have to deal with this growing up, so I was never scared to fight against it. But definitely I dealt with it. I dealt with it all the way in college up until I decided to make Aliyah. I faced a lot of anti-Semitism. When I was a kid, I got disinvited to a birthday party because I didn't believe in Jesus when I was like 4 or 5. And then all the way up in college, I had people yell things at me wearing a kippah, wearing the Star of David out of their cars. When I was on university campus, there were a lot of anti-Semitic activities and people trying to boycott Jewish student groups, trying to make us feel ashamed to be Jewish. But it didn't work, clearly, because Am Yisrael Chai, we're still alive, we're still here. And it's important to always be unapologetic. First time on the channel, y'all better listen. See that like and subscribe, get to clicking.
תמיד עם החבר'ה כל הצוות כמו דורון הדם של אויבים הדבר היחיד בצבע אדום.
You took a name, Great Side Gravy. What does it mean?
So the West Side is a reference to where I grew up in the West Coast in San Diego. And it's funny because again, like now I'm on the west side of Hadera, the west side, Givat Olga. The gravy's still top secret. I haven't let anyone know yet. Zeh HaW shel West Side. It's like the West Side, West Coast. I grew up in San Diego. I go by West Side Gravy. And now I'm on the west side of Hadera, Givat Olga. And then, yeah, Shalosh is the 3. Gimel, Shalosh, Givat Olga. So shout out for my homies who live down here, Michael and Hillel. They have like a group, so worked with them a bunch. So usually I'll have like an idea for like a vision of the clip before I'm finished even writing the song. Like I'll make a beat and I'll be writing the lyrics and I'll think, okay, this sounds like it's gonna match up with you know, whatever image I have in my mind, and then I'll go around places and kind of take notes and build out like an idea for what I want to do. Or I'll work with people who make videos and they'll also help me craft that. Sometimes if I'm doing a song with another rapper who's featured, then we'll sit together and just like bounce off each other ideas. But yeah, if it's a solo song, then yeah, it's just me. My songs are about a lot of things. I'd say in general they're about my life and my experience. So that could be about growing up in San Diego, the West Coast culture. That could be about, you know, moving around. That could also be about being black and Jewish. So celebrating that and the amazing culture that I have because of that, and also recognizing that sometimes there's struggles I have to face as, you know, a black Russian Jew. So anti-Semitism and racism, so sometimes I talk about those topics too. I want to continue to represent myself and represent my people. I want to give people a story that they've never heard before and that'll help them relate to, because I think that's what hip-hop does. I grew up listening to hip-hop. There's a lot of rappers who live different lives from me that I would never be able to relate to unless they put it out there in music and I could understand where they're coming from.
When will your concert be in Israel?
Soon, hopefully. Bezrat Hashem. Very, very soon.
Have you seen sharks here?
So I haven't yet, but a couple of my friends have. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna come back next winter because I want to see them when they're all coming here.
You won't meet sharks here?
I want to see them. I don't want to go in with them. You know, I don't know about that. So this one is the Lion of Judah, Arya Yehuda, like that's on the flag of Yerushalayim. This one I have the map of Africa with the Pan-African flag, so you know in my heart I hold Jerusalem, Africa. Here I have from Tehillim, Im eshkachech Yerushalayim tishkach yamini. I'll forget my right hand forget itself, and then I have here California.
Wow.
So with Star in San Diego, where I was raised. So I think I'm done. This is all that I want. Yeah, zero.
You are Beitar.
Yeah, when it comes to soccer in Israel, football, kadurege, that's my team.
Beitar fans in Israel are famous and main hooligans. What do you think about it?
I'm not a hooligan. I just like the football, you know, and it's the capital of Israel, so of course I gotta support the team that's the capital of Israel. I mean, I've seen like a lot of changes, new players coming back and being signed, so yeah, I believe it. You just gotta get through it. I think it's really important for Jews to live in Israel. I think this is our homeland, this is where our people come from, and for thousands of years, even when we're all over the world, we prayed to be able to come back here. We practiced traditions to be able to come back here. We ate foods that reminded us that we're from here. We spoke languages that are from here. And I think it's important for us to keep that connection, and even for Jews who are not currently living in Israel, to remember that they came from here, and hopefully one day they'll be able to come back.
What is your dream?
My dream is part of what I'm already living, to come back home, to be able to build a life and a family here, to continue to use my music to represent my culture, and to continue to do what I think is really important, which is to educate about Jewish history and my roots.
For you, Israel is. Continue this sentence, please.
For me, Israel's home.
On the west side of Hoga and I'm rapping. If you disrespecting, best bet you get to snapping. We know about the ops and they ain't allowed entrance. Don't always get the message, so I gotta keep a word. Shalosh, הסמל הנכון יזרוק.